screen will close, and you will then we'll get any voicemail messages. Good evening. Welcome to our telephone town hall meeting this evening. Tonight, our special guest is Dr. Judy B. White, the superintendent of the Moreno Valley Unified School System. Tonight, we will be talking about the strategic plan of the school system, and we invite you to ask questions of Dr. White tonight. If you have a question for Dr. White, the superintendent of schools in the Moreno Valley Unified School District, please press 0. Press 0 on your keypad at any time, and we will get your questions up to Dr. White as soon as possible. We're dialing many of your neighbors tonight, so do please stay on the line. Stay on the line, and we will be getting started in just a second. You'll hear me repeat these instructions just a couple of times, but if you have a question for Dr. White, the superintendent of schools for the Moreno Valley Unified School District, please press 0. Press 0 on your keypad at any time. If you would like to join the school district's email list, please press 7. Press 7 on your keypad at any point, and we will get your email recorded and get you on the list. If you have a question for Dr. White tonight about the strategic plan, please press 0. Press 0 on your keypad at any point, and we will get your question up to Dr. White. Again, welcome to our telephone town hall meeting this evening. This is the telephone town hall meeting for the Moreno Valley Unified School District. This call tonight is being conducted in both English and Spanish. If you have a question for Dr. White tonight, please press 0. Press 0 on your keypad, and we will get your question up to Dr. White as soon as possible. This is a call tonight to discuss the strategic plan of the Moreno Valley Unified School District. We are going to get started in just a couple of minutes, and I'll ask Dr. White to welcome everybody to the call in just a second. But if you do have a question tonight for Dr. White, please press 0. Press 0 on your keypad at any point, and we will get your question up to Dr. White. Again, one last time before we get started, this is a telephone town hall meeting this evening with the Moreno Valley Unified School District. Our special guest is Dr. Judy B. White, Superintendent of Schools. She will be discussing the strategic plan for the school district. So if you have a question for Dr. White, please press 0 on your keypad. Dr. White, if you would, please welcome everybody to our call, and let's get started.
Yes, this is Dr. Judy White, your superintendent of the Moreno Valley Unified School District, and I'm calling tonight to talk with you about our children's future. So welcome, and thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for taking some time to join our conversation about the direction of our school district and our new strategic plan, which is really a roadmap to student academic success. I know that everybody is busy and working and with their families, and your time is so valuable. But I think if we can share just a brief moment together to talk about what's important, our children, you will be pleased at what we have to share. That's what this call is about. It is about our new strategic plan and the plan that we have developed over the past 8 months with an unprecedented level of community involvement. We had people from the business community, the faith community, we had students, site administrators, district administrators working together with our parents to come up with a plan for success. With me here to help explain it to you are Mays Kakish, our Chief Business Official, along with Dr. Robert Verdi, our Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, and Tim McGilvray, our Public Information Officer. First, I'm going to give you a little background on our district and the strategic plan, and then we're going to open it up for questions because I do want it to be a dialogue. By the time you hang up on this evening, I'm hoping that you understand how sincere we are about being partners, how much progress we are making, and also some specifics about the strategic plan, and you'll even have an opportunity to tell us if you think we're going in the right direction, and we'll use our phone system to get feedback from you. Reminding you that Moreno Valley is the third largest school district in Riverside County. We serve approximately 34,000 students at 23 elementary schools, 6 middle schools, 4 comprehensive high schools, and 7 alternative schools. We are beautifully diverse in our community. We have about 3,400 employees, making us the second largest employer in Moreno Valley. Our community has shown a great interest in our schools, and when I first came, I had town hall meetings throughout the city, and sometimes we'd have a small group, and sometimes we'd have a larger group. But with this particular effort, I'm hoping that we can reach thousands so that people will know exactly what we are doing. One of the things that I heard at that time was they wanted the superintendent to lead an effort in raising our graduation rates. And we are celebrating that we have increased our graduation rates by over 15% in the past 3 years, which now stands at 81%. And this rate is higher than both the state and national average. We are confident in our model of excellence on purpose. And that means that we are not going to be making decisions haphazardly. We're not going to be doing things by chance, but we will be deliberate in our action. So as we're working together as a team, we need your help. We want you to be partners as we look at the new strategic plan. Public schools look after the health and welfare of children, working with local, state, and federal agencies and nonprofits. And we are working together as a team. I'd like for you to even know what our new mission statement is going to be, if I could read it to you. The mission of Moreno Valley Unified School District is to ensure all students graduate high school prepared to successfully enter into higher education or pursue a viable career path. We've listened to your voices, and our goal is 100% for students to graduate. And that means that we have to have alternatives for them to attend. We have an online academy, and we have to make sure that if any student is struggling or has a challenge, that we have created viable support systems. The mission of Moreno Valley School District is to ensure all students graduate high school prepared to successfully enter into higher education. When we looked at our strategic plan, we had over 8 months of meetings, and we discussed our priorities and our principles and processes. And at the end, we even made additional commitments of what each group would be doing. So our teachers would clearly understand what their role is, each student's role, and our parents as well. So with the strategic plan, we've identified having interventions at every grade level, making sure that we are teaching to the Common Core state standards, that we would make sure we had a viable communication system with our families. And we just want to make sure that everything that we do, we are measuring it for success. We have to have a compass to see how we're doing. It is our goal to communicate with our families on a regular basis, that they will be able to go into online and find out how their individual student is doing. We will have parent information nights throughout our entire city. We want to make sure that the parents know what the Common Core state standards are, and that they will be able to help their children at school, at home, and also be able to contact the school and to be able to say what is going to be different to help them to be supported. We want parents to feel welcome, but we want them to be knowledgeable. We've increased our opportunities for our GATE students to participate and compete in a variety of activities. And I really want parents to know that we've heard your voice. One of the things that came up even in our discussion at our strategic planning was the student's voice saying, will you increase our AVID programs? Will you increase our career technical opportunities? So when we actually got into the details of the plan, we've been able to increase that for our students. You also have been hearing things about the local accountability plan, because what the strategic plan does, it gives us the base on what we believe and how will we get there and what are we committed to do. But with the local accountability plan, it's a new way of funding our districts, and with that, we have to have the details of how we will address priority areas that the state has identified. We've worked together very closely on our budget to make sure that it supports the priorities that have been identified by our working group together. And all effective school districts have a strategic plan, and we want you to be aware of what that is. Actually, on June 17th, we're going to have a meeting at the board where everybody's invited, and at that board meeting, we are going to be able to talk and adopt the strategic plan, the local accountability plan, as well as our budget. So I just don't want to talk at you. I want to talk with you, and so we're going to start opening it up for questions. But again, I want to thank you for even listening to find out that we have a strategic plan that we are excited about. We are planning to implement with fidelity, and we want our parents as partners on this journey.
Thank you very much, Dr. White. We've had a lot of you who have joined the call since we started, and so I want to remind folks, if you would like to ask Dr. White a question about their strategic plan tonight, please press 0. Press 0 on your keypad at any time, and we will get your question up to Dr. White as soon as possible. Press 0 on your keypad, and we will get your question up. If you would like to join the email list, please press 7. So you'll hear me repeat that a couple times, but do just want to let everybody know, if you have a question, please press 0. If you would like to join our email list, please press 7. Our first live question tonight is from Anthony. Anthony, welcome to our telephone town hall. Please tell us what part of the district you're in tonight and what's your question.
I'm in the, I do volunteer work around at different elementary schools. My question is, what is Moreno Valley's school district's reaction to the city not cooperating with Moreno Valley as far as school policies, school graduations, and just not working with the city, with the school district itself?
I would like to say that one of the strengths that I bring to the district is collaboration. And we are collaborating. In fact, even this summer, we have a partnership with the city where we're going to be able to help in terms of our busing, helping students to go on field trips to support the city summer programs. And we do have open dialogue. There's a monthly meeting that we hold with our city. We keep things very positive and problem solving.
Thanks, Dr. White. We had a question that came in earlier via email, Dr. White. The question was, can you please explain the process you went through to get people to participate in creating the plan?
Yes, we wanted to make sure that it was very inclusive. So the first step that we did is we had an all-call to the community to ask if there were people interested in participating. We did send out special invitations to people who had over time said, if you ever participate in a strategic plan, that we want to be partners. We wanted to ensure that we had support from all of the major stakeholders. So your primary stakeholders are your parents. So there are very formal parent groups that we have, and we reached out to ask for representatives there from our PTAs, from our district English learner departments, for our African American subgroups. We had different groups that already existed, our GATE parents, that we brought together. But we also wanted parents at large to participate. In our business community, we reached out to actually our Chamber of Commerce to ask for participation with the businesses. And additionally, what we ended up doing was asking for our business partners to join us. Even our higher education, Moreno Valley Community College was represented. We had Brandman University represented. We had UCR represented, and a representative from Cal State San Bernardino. So it's important to us that you have a variety of stakeholders. So we've ended up having a core of 75 people who sacrifice on a monthly basis for over 8 months to develop the strategic plan.
Great. Thank you very much. Let's go to our next question from Jenny. Jenny, welcome to our telephone town hall. Jenny, what part of the district are you in tonight, and what's your question?
Hi, I'm wondering when you guys are going to be starting up the summer school programs again for kids that are kind of behind in school. You guys took them out, and I'm wondering when the summer school programs will be coming back again.
The summer school programs will be reinstated in a greater capacity this summer. We actually did have summer school last year for our high school students that were at risk or credit deficient. So we actually will start our summer school at the end of June for a 5-week period through the month of July, and we are offering programs. That still is more of a secondary focus. Our vision is to be able to also offer support by year 3, elementary through high school.
All right. Thanks, Dr. White. Let's keep right on moving. Let's go to a question from Deborah. Deborah, welcome to our telephone town hall. Deborah, where are you in the district, and what's your question?
Okay. Well, I usually volunteer many places here in Moreno Valley for the schools. It's just unfortunate that I want to know what's going to happen with children with disabilities. I see that there's not enough programs. The teachers are not even, they're not even taught what to do with certain kind of programs when it comes to speech or just regular programs in class. And I think it's really sad that these kids are not getting enough of what they should be getting in order to live a better life. Is that enough?
Okay. Thank you so much for your question, and I appreciate your sensitivity to want to make sure that we support our students that have special needs or students that might need additional support. What we have found is that effective districts offer a standard intervention throughout their districts. And so there's 2 things that we'll be doing differently. We'll make sure that Read 180 is across the entire district, and that is a reading intervention for our students. The other across the district intervention is Imagine Learning, and we have not had that program district-wide. We piloted it last year. We've had tremendous results with helping to build vocabulary and reading comprehension. So Imagine Learning will be throughout the district next year. We have an agreement with our Human Resources Department to actually have a signing bonus for our speech therapists. You had identified that speech was an area of concern for you, and it is for us as well. So we are going to be having a signing bonus in order to recruit more speech therapists. But every student is valuable. We want added value for each student, and I appreciate your question regarding our special needs students.
Let's next take a question from Joanna. Joanna, tell us what part of the district you're in tonight, and what's your question?
Well, honestly, I don't know what district I belong to, but my kids, my 2 older kids are currently attending Towngate Elementary School. And I'd like to greet Dr. White, hello. And my question is, what if part of the program is to make classes smaller?
Yes. I really appreciate that question because the goal for the state, they had asked us to look at class size reduction and to work with your associations with a goal to reduce class sizes, especially at the elementary level, over a period of time. And so what we ended up doing is making that a priority for our district. We heard parents throughout the community when we had our LCAP meetings, our local control accountability plan meetings. They want smaller classes as well as our teachers. And there's some research with certain support systems, it is very effective. So starting next year, we'll be reducing the primary classes by 2, and I believe over the next 3 years, our goal is to get closer to the 24-to-1 in our elementaries. Right now, we're currently at 30-to-1, but our goal over the 3-year period to get to 24-to-1.
Great. Dr. White, along those lines, can you tell us what the local control funding formula is and what the relationship is between that and the strategic plan?
Yes. The Budget Act of 1314 included a landmark change in legislation that simplifies the state school finance system, and they call this change the local control funding formula, and it represents a major shift in how California funds the local school districts. I see it as being an opportunity for the local community to be able to decide how the money is going to be spent, as opposed to the 50 different categorical, tightly defined programs that used to exist. As long as you're addressing the 8 major priorities of student achievement and Common Core state standards, you can actually decide as a community. And that's why it was so important that we have a strategic plan, so that we're just not talking about things, but that we're really, really strategic about how we will address it. So the other part of the local control funding formula, however, was transparency. We really have to make sure that whatever we do, that we're putting it online so a parent can go online and see it, how the money is being spent. They could go online and say, okay, is this a priority? And I asked for several months for parents to even go online and email me and tell me how they thought the money should be spent, and we got a tremendous response from that. So the local control funding formula is a shift and a change on how school districts are funded, and how the school district will be able to ensure equity, transparency, and performance for all the students in their district.
Great. Thanks, Dr. White. I do just want to remind folks tonight, we're talking about the strategic plan. So if you have a question about the strategic plan, please press 0 on your keypad. If you would like to join the school's email list, please press 7. We've got a lot of folks tonight who are very interested in both. So please be patient, and we will be getting to your questions as soon as possible and getting as many questions as we can live on the air tonight. So we'll next go to a question from Mary. Mary, welcome to our telephone town hall. Mary, what's your question tonight?
Good evening, Dr. White. As a parent of 3 children, 2 of which graduated from a high school in Moreno Valley, and which I'm very happy with because they've had some excellent teachers. I was calling because I had a question about, I know our ultimate goal is to graduate as many students as possible, but I wanted to hear what your plan is to deal with having our children learn in a safe learning environment, despite having at-risk students.
Thank you for your question. And the school climate is so important. That is actually one of the 8 priorities of the state, and that is a high priority for us as a community. In our local control accountability plan, in addition to our strategic plan, which is the base, we are making sure that not only are we teaching students about acceptable behavior that leads to a calm campus and also a safe environment, but as necessary, we are increasing our counselors at our schools. We're increasing our assistant principals who can help design discipline programs. And then, of course, sometimes it is necessary to increase your security officers. And so we will have a comprehensive approach. We'll be using also the a behavior analysis to make sure that we're addressing the needs of our students. We have found, though, that when we have good first teaching in the classroom and students' needs are being met academically, they tend to make the better decisions in school, as well as when we have opportunities for them to engage. But thank you for your concern. It's still a high priority along with our Common Core state standards and our strategic plan. Thank you. There's also an additional question that has to do with sports. And what I'd like to say is that when you think about a safe school, when you think about a highly engaged school, the research shows us that students who are involved in sports programs, as well as the fine arts and music, and we've already mentioned our AVID programs and career technical education programs, students do better in terms of preparing for college. So the board has made a major commitment in making sure that we have bolstered up our sports program. We've added our freshman sports back, and then we've added additional sports that had been delayed, like our tennis and our golf. So we'll be having a robust sports program at all of our high schools, and we'll also be introducing some basic programs at our middle school.
Great. Dr. White, I'm sorry about that. Had a little technical glitch, but our next question is going to be from Mohammed. Mohammed, welcome to our telephone town hall. Mohammed, what's your question tonight?
Yes, hello. Thank you for all your efforts, first of all, and for the vision that you're not just going one academic year at a time. So that's very much appreciated. And thank you for always keeping the parents involved and informed. My question was, with the strategic plan, there's going to be changes in the state budget. There's going to be changes in the state benchmarks. There's going to be changes in the colleges and the universities as far as the UC system and the Cal State system. How are you going to maintain the consistency as far as making the adjustments to the strategic plan? Thank you very much.
The strategic plan will be revisited on a quarterly basis because we are only as good as our follow-through. That has always been my mantra. You can write anything, but we want a change in behavior on how we are implementing our practices at a high quality. So the strategic plan committee is going to be ongoing. They will first be partners with us in a rollout plan, and then it will be followed up with us looking at data, because with the strategic plan, we had to identify not just the what we were going to do, but how we were going to do it and how we were going to measure it. The board is so interested in us doing this at such a high level that we have also committed a small amount of money to an external team that will be evaluating and helping to monitor. And with that, it's going to increase the implementation. We have a very robust educational services department that's led by Dr. Keziora, and they are on teams that are statewide in order to be able to stay in front of what's necessary in terms of the changes of the SAT, the changes in the college, and even in our integrated math. So there's so many areas that we have to look forward and look at. So I appreciate the fact that you understand we cannot just have a plan, but we have to have a monitoring system embedded into the implementation of the plan.
All right. Thank you, Dr. White. We're going to keep right on going. Let's go to Moises. Moises, welcome to our call. What's your question tonight?
Yes, good evening, Dr. White.
Go ahead.
Yes, I am. Yeah, there was a bit of a glitch, so I didn't hear my name. Sorry. My question, and I think you have addressed a bit of the question so far, and basically is how is the strategic plan addressing expanding extracurricular programs in the middle schools, and improving them in the high school levels? One of the things I've noticed here in Moreno Valley is that a lot of the coaches that get hired are coaches that are from the high school themselves. How are we looking to hire quality coaches that truly and generally care about the progress of our kids, not just from the play in the field, but to carry the books as well as the ball? How is that being addressed in terms of improving the quality of athletic programs here in Moreno Valley?
If you know anything about me, I am very interested in the whole child, which includes those that are participating in sports. So we are working with our athletic directors. We are talking to them also about how we can have an increase in scholarships for athletics. What we are doing to expand is getting better and better every year. So what has happened in the past, sometimes we weren't recruiting at the level because people did not see us as a viable competitor. But if you look at all the data from every single team in all four of our high schools, they've done so much better getting to the playoffs. Even for our girls basketball team, winning the state championship, that's phenomenal. So when you start having a winning team, then you actually are able to recruit at a higher level. So there isn't going to be a check and balance. Right now, our board is contemplating even releasing our athletic directors full-time as opposed to them teaching half-time and directing half-time, and that will also help with our sports program. We welcome any ideas. You feel free to also share ideas that you have about our sports program, but we plan to be competitive, and you can see over the last couple of years we have been in the playoffs. The last point on that, I think when Troy Percival came in and he made a commitment to not only volunteer, but to work with our starter baseball team at Moreno Valley High School, that has had tremendous reaction from the community, so more people of quality want to come and support. And then some of the people who have been coaching, we can support them at a greater level as well.
Okay. Let's keep right on going here. We're going to take our next question, another live question tonight, from Karina. Karina, welcome to our telephone town hall. Karina, what's your question tonight?
Good evening, everyone, and I really do appreciate this call. It makes it easy to participate. My question is, with the Common Core standards coming up and being implemented in the next school year, I'm wondering how will the district continue to educate parents on how we can best assist our students here at home so that we can be in partnership with the schools and what the Common Core standards expect from our students.
We've asked each principal to make sure that they reach out to their parents. Last year, even when I would go to the open house, the big back-to-school nights, the individual teachers were actually providing information to the parents in their classroom, but there have been school-wide Common Core state standards training for our parents. If you go online to the Moreno Valley Unified School District website, to the Common Core state standards link, it will also show you district-wide where Common Core state standards are being presented for our parents. Because you're not as aware of this, that lets me know we have not done a great job on advertising. So I'm going to make sure that we send letters out to parents. There's online opportunities for parents, but also we are developing brochures so that you will actually know what does my child need to learn and be able to do for each grade level.
All right. Dr. White, another question that we had come in before says that I heard the school district has a lot of money now. If so, does the strategic plan call for more art education?
I'm going to let Ms. Kakish talk about the funding and is it really true that we have more money or not, but I'll tell you that that has been a priority. The fine arts is a priority along with our sports program enhancement because of the research that shows students who are involved in fine arts actually test higher, they are more engaged, they graduate from both high school and college. So we are bolstering that program as well, and we have several community partners who want to engage our students in the Arts Commission and in fine arts in general. Mace, could you just briefly talk a little bit about the funding? Do we have more money, and how is that?
Yes, good evening, everyone. One of the things I think we want to make sure that our community is aware of is the districts in the state of California have experienced budget crisis over the last 5 years. And for our district, we've lost $198 million over 5 years cumulatively in funding. And so what's happening now is that we are in a recovery mode, and we are starting to recover some of that funding that has been lost. So it's expected within the next 7 years that we will receive what has been lost in funding. And so we're really recovering what we've been at as a level. We're supposed to go back to the level of funding that we used to receive back in 07, 08. So it's not additional dollars per se, but they are dollars that we have not received last year, for example. But it does still keep us as underfunded compared to other states. But we are, with the new strategic plan and the local control accountability plan, with feedback from our community, prioritizing with the money coming back to the district, what comes back as services that has been cut throughout the 5 years. So the music and arts programs, athletic programs, all of the enrichment programs that has been lost in our district over the last 5 years has been coming back over the last year and much more in the budget year.
All right, let's next take a question from Duana. Duana, welcome to our call. Tell us where you're calling from and what's your question tonight. Duana, are you with us?
Yes, I'm sorry about that. Hello, good evening. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak and to ask questions. My question was in regards to intervention and also for school readiness. I was wondering, is there some sort of implementation in the future for perhaps a virtual summer school for children who need to stay ready for their grade level? or for the children who are at risk for failing? Is there some sort of virtual summer school program in the future?
Absolutely. We actually have an online summer school program right now for high school students, and they can actually access and get support in that way. I think when I look at your question, you're talking about even elementary and middle school as well. So that is more in development stage, but this is the purpose of our town hall meeting, so that you can give us ideas about things that are important to you. We can include it in our strategic planning, and so your point is very, very well taken.
Dr. White, can you give us a little bit more background on Common Core and how the strategic plan supports Common Core?
Yes. When you think about the Common Core state standards that have been adopted by the state of California, then you realize that we have to teach students at a higher, more rigorous level. And what we are doing is making sure that our teachers are prepared. So right now, this past year, we have been engaged in tremendous professional development with our teachers. We're so pleased that our own MBA association, our Teachers Association, actually wrote a grant to help support the learning for our teachers so that we would be prepared to actually support our students. So when you talk about how does that work with the strategic plan, then it goes back to, in the strategic planning process, what did the committee say was a high priority? That actually came up as a very, very high priority in the strategic planning process, that we make sure that our students are ready for the Common Core state standards. And then when you look at the local control accountability plan, it also included as one of the 8 priorities the Common Core state standards. So it's all integrated, because when you say you're helping your students to master the standards, you have to agree on what are those standards. So the Common Core state standards is what we want our students to master. The plan is going to say how we're going to do it and measure it. And then in addition, we will have checks and balances, intervention, and don't forget acceleration. For those students who have mastered a particular standard, what are we doing differently to help them to be able to continue to excel?
Great. Thanks, Dr. White. For those of you who are on the line tonight, we really appreciate you being here. And not only is this an opportunity for you to ask questions, but it's also an opportunity to participate in the call by responding to some survey questions from us. And tonight, we really just have one. And I'd like you to answer by pressing the numbers on your keypad. The question is, do you feel the Moreno Valley Unified School District is headed in the right direction? Press 1 if you believe it is, press 2 if you don't think so, or 3 if you're not sure. Again, the question is, do you feel the Moreno Valley Unified School District is headed in the right direction? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no, or 3 for not sure. Go ahead and continue voting tonight as we go ahead and take some more questions. Our next question is from Valerie. Valerie, welcome to our telephone town hall. Valerie, what part of the district are you in, and what's your question?
I have a child that's in Canyon Springs High School, but my question has to do with the GATE program was mentioned several times, and some of the students, when they are in your middle school, go on to the IB program that is out of one of the Riverside high schools. And Dr. White mentioned at one point some interest in implementing such a program in this district, in one of the high schools, perhaps maybe Canyon Springs or another one. So my question is, some of our students are leaving this district, going to the International Baccalaureate program, and I'd like to know if there was any interest in that, or is there any interest in implementing a program like that in your district?
Thank you so much for asking that question, because it was on my list to mention, and absolutely we do plan to have the IB program in our district. When I first came on board and I met with different family members and parents, one of the issues that was raised, are we doing enough for our GATE students? And I can say when we did our assessment at that time, we weren't doing all that we can for our gifted and talented students. So what we had to do when it comes to a IB program, you actually have to do a year of study. You have to send the team to training, and then you have another pilot year before it's fully implemented. And we are so glad to be able to celebrate that our board has supported this endeavor. We will be starting an IB program at Canyon Springs High School, and but it has to go through the process. This is the summer that's been designated for the training. So we have a staff that's actually going to the training. This is an international training, but it is here in the United States. They'll be trained this summer, and then you have to continue the professional development at the school for a year, and then the group comes out to validate that the school will be ready. So when you actually think about the implementation, it would be in the 15-16 school year. And we put it in our budget because it came up in our strategic plan, and that's what we talk about continuity. You have to have it in your strategic plan, then you have it in your LCAP, and then it's in your budget. So it is in the budget. We are happy to celebrate. We want our families to stay with us. We don't want them to feel that they have to go anywhere to get their students' needs met.
Thank you, Dr. White. Let's next go to a question from Sandra. Sandra, welcome to our telephone town hall. Sandra, tell us what part of the district you're in tonight and what's your question?
I actually have 3 children. One's graduating from Valley View High School. Another one is a freshman in the GATE program at Valley View High School, and I have a child in elementary at Butterfield Elementary. Now, my question is in the elementary level, is there any future programs that will be developed for any of the children that are needing more of a one-on-one basis that have I wouldn't say a learning disability, it's just more of an attention span environment that's more focused on a one-on-one basis that do well with one-on basis versus in a classroom environment where they just get so distracted that they lose focus. They're aware of what's going on. They know the curriculum. It's just a matter of finishing the classwork is what my concern is.
Thank you for your question. What you're talking about is something that's very individualized, but we do want to support each and every student that we have. We do have classes already that are specialized where there are one-on-one aides in that class to be able to help that student to stay focused. What I would like to recommend to any parent that might have a special needs student that might not be functioning at their maximum potential based on that parent's perception, to reach out to the school so that we can look at other programs and we can tour. We have not designed an entire school because that would be contrary to the law that talks about mainstreaming. But we do have classes throughout our district, and I invite anyone, if they have a student, any child that might need additional support and maybe their current placement is not providing that, give us an opportunity to serve them at a greater level.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. White. We're next going to go to a question from Consuela. Consuela, welcome to our telephone town hall. What's your question tonight?
Hi. Also just wanted to say thanks again for the opportunity, and I appreciate Zawana's question regarding online summer school. My question focuses on the impact of the plan on early intervention in primary grades in regards to counseling services for students who have social emotional needs.
Okay, what we have analyzed our data is that we're seeing that we really need more prevention at the early years. And what we did is we worked together with our Human Resources Department, our board, and our associations to be able to actually hire 4 additional counselors on next year that will focus at the elementary level. With this particular configuration, where you had, in some cases, some schools did not have a counselor, now every school will have at least some counseling support. So your point is so well taken. We identified the same need, and we have responded accordingly. And through the strategic planning process, we were able to say we need 4 additional counselors at the elementary school as of this school year. Dr. Birdie, did you want to add anything to that?
Thank you, Dr. White. I just wanted to add that as part of the whole strategic plan process and the budgeting process, this was identified fairly early on to the point where we're also looking at additional counseling positions for future years, as well as school psychologist positions. We're adding 1 for next year, and we're trying to slowly work towards reducing their caseload so they can spend more individualized time helping students with the needs that they bring to the table, and identifying those needs sooner, we think will be better equipped to handle the issues that come forward.
All right. Thank you, Dr. White. Let's next go to Lupe. Lupe, welcome to our call. What's your question tonight?
Hello, thank you. Yes, my question is, due to my kids go to Moreno Valley High School, and I do see a overcrowding in the school, in the district, and I was wondering if there's any plans of building additional schools in our district.
Yes, in fact, the board has made it very clear that they want our students to be able to attend the school and be comfortable and making sure that the school is able to support the students in every area. So we are in the process of reviewing for a 5th high school. And I'm going to ask Mays to tell us where we are in the process, but there's a 5th high school that we are looking at.
We have identified selected sites, and we're in the process of actually doing an environmental testing to make sure the sites are suitable to be school sites. And the board will be making a decision on the site in the next couple of months before the fall. And at that point, we'll start negotiating and acquiring the site for construction.
I would like to also say that you mentioned that your students attend Moreno Valley High School. We just received an I3 grant called Building Assets Reducing Risk that will require an additional counselor at that particular site. So once we knew we had the grant, we did make sure that it was included in our strategic plan as well as our LCAP so that we would be able to support the school. So I appreciate that you have observed some of the same needs that we have, but we will be responsive.
All right. Thank you very much. We are going to keep right on going tonight. We've got many people who have questions, and we're going to get to as many as we possibly can. So do hang on the line with us. Let's next take a question from Jessica. Jessica, welcome to our telephone town hall. What's your question tonight?
Hi, I was wondering if the school district is going to look into implementing some sort of Spanish learner program starting in the elementary schools, such as in San Diego School District. This would be more useful for the kids in their future careers because nowadays you do have to speak Spanish or a second language in order to get hired.
Yes, I appreciate you asking that question because we recognize that was a need. So last year we started what we call dual immersion programs where English students can learn Spanish. It is actually held at Armada and Butterfield at this time. We have 4 classes, and we are going to be expanding. So last year it started, when I say last year, I'm talking actually this 13-14 school year, it was kindergarten. So next year it loops up to 1st grade, and we start a new kindergarten class. We have a waiting list because it has been so popular. It is my vision as the superintendent to even start a 3rd type of a dual immersion where it would have our Chinese Mandarin. Once we get even a greater demand, we could actually expand the dual immersion program. But we actually have it already. We look forward to expanding it, and we have a waiting list, and we will be adding Chinese Mandarin Chinese at some point in the future.
All right, Dr. White, we're going to keep right on going. Let's next take a question from Chantal. Chantal, welcome to our call. What's your question?
Yes, my question was about the strategic plan. Does it include any modifications to instruction time in the classroom or how homework is assigned? Because I find my children are spending a lot of time on homework, and sometimes are asking me questions about things that I think that they probably should have learned while they were in class. You know, it's been a long time since I've been in school, so I don't know, you know, the answers to the new teaching methods that they are doing now. But one thing that I did find beneficial when I went to school is we had 2-hour classes, three classes one day and 3 classes the next day, and I thought that was very, very beneficial. Has any thought gone into lengthening instruction time or what the instruction time should be for them to learn, you know, on a daily basis?
What we have done in our strategic plan is looked at the way that instruction is presented, but we have not actually changed the allocation of minutes. What you are describing is called block scheduling, and I believe that Moreno Valley High School 9th grade class might be working with some block scheduling for next year, but as a district, it has not been included in the plan. One of the things that we've asked our principals to do is have homework nights where parents can actually be given additional instruction on some of the new methodologies, because things have changed and there's sometimes they need to be exposed to the way the students are learning. We are also going to be validating some lessons where parents will be able to go online, and not this year, but in the plan for the next year, and they will be able to see a lesson retaught, so that if a child did not master a particular concept, that they can actually go online and be able to see that being retaught with their child hand in hand. We have found that there's some free online homework support systems too, and we will be asking our individual school sites to share with their school community where they can go online for that additional support. I agree with you. Students should be mastering a concept in the school day, and then the homework is a reinforcement, and it should not be on the parent to actually teach the lesson. It should be a support. Our strategic plan has a heavy emphasis on parental involvement and engagement, and so if we can use the input that we're receiving from tonight to help our parents work together, and we can provide more support to them.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's next go to Martha. Martha, welcome to our call tonight. Martha, what's your question for Dr. White?
Hi, my question is, what are we doing for those children who have already slipped through the cracks, and basically teach you guys employees to recognize the children that are at risk for already not graduating? How is it that we basically let a child that's supposed to be a senior end up with only 25 credits to graduate? What is it that we're doing in order to keep them to obtain a high school diploma even though they've already turned 18?
We are not a perfect system, and there may be students that are deficient of credits, and so we're looking at them on an individual basis. What we've done differently this year is we've asked Dr. Keziora to work with our principals, so he meets with them on a monthly basis, and they take a look at each and every student in that particular high school, and next to their name is how many credits do they have. And then as they sit down and have the conversations working with our counselors, we say what program is going to be a good match for that student based on what their current data shows. We have increased recovery classes throughout the district. We've increased after-school opportunities, and we also have our alternative programs so that the students can be able to recover. We want the students to stay with us until they graduate or they are going into a career, and that means that sometimes we have to even keep our students for a 5th year. That is a legal opportunity that the students can stay for a 5th year. And then we do have a very strong adult school if we need to support our students in obtaining their high school diploma. We do not want any student to fall through the cracks. We do not want any student to be credit deficient, and so we have to be more proactive when they first fail a class. What are we doing to respond to them? In the strategic plan, it talks about increasing alternative opportunities, and we have funding to support that endeavor.
All right, let's take another question from LaTanya. LaTanya, welcome to our call. What's your question tonight?
Yes, thank you, Dr. White. I want to know if you all are going to be implementing any middle colleges, or will a high school student be able to earn their AA degree while they're completing their high school diploma?
We actually do have a middle college program agreement. Students from our district enroll at their junior year, and the partnership is with Moreno Valley Community College. So we do have a middle college program. Recently, I did meet with the president of Moreno Valley Community College, and so what we're talking about, though, is being able to offer college courses at our high schools for students who are not involved in the middle college program. Our president, Mayo, she actually participated with our strategic planning committee process, and she definitely wants to see a stronger partnership so that our students can graduate with their AAs, but also even if they're able to take a few classes, which gives them priority registration.
Great, Dr. White, thank you. Let's go to another question from Richard. Richard, welcome to our telephone town hall. What's your question tonight?
I'd like to say hello to Dr. White. My name's Richard. I have my son at Palm Middle School, and he's in the STEM program. And we enjoy the last year here in sixth grade, the first year of STEM there. My question is basically, he's going into the seventh grade. What kind of training, and we never really talked about it with the teachers in the sixth grade, but what kind of training are they going to have in the seventh grade and beyond to teach STEM? And also the bridging from Palm Middle School to, I guess, Valley View. What is in the works on that? So when they, a couple of years from now, when they're ready to move on, will that bridge be there?
Definitely the bridge is going to be there. We made a commitment to our parents when we decided to do the STEM program, the science, technology, engineering, mathematics program at Palm, that we would make sure that the bridge was there as they matriculated to the high school. I'm going to have Dr. Verdi in just a second talk about the credentialing process and how we are able to help our teachers to be prepared for support in that area. But our STEM program at Palm Middle School has been very, very successful, and we will be expanding it. And again, that's why I'm so excited to share with our community about our strategic plan, because even in our strategic plan, we have the STEM program identified. It's identified in our budget, and we want our students to have multiple opportunities. We have engineering programs at all of our high schools, but I do want to say that the STEM is very focused, it's very deliberate, and Dr. Verdi will talk about the credentialing.
One of the things that came out of our strategic planning meetings was an emphasis on being able to recruit and retain highly qualified teachers. And there's no more important area than in some of these specialized programs where we want to recruit and retain the best teachers. And as far as credentialing goes for the STEM program, really what we're doing is we are going out to our local universities and engaging in some strong recruiting movements to get teachers that are coming right out of credentialing programs with the highly qualified science and math credentials to fit into these programs. And as we go out to recruit, what is becoming apparent is that STEM is something that is actually being taught in these credentialing programs. It's an emphasis of programs that are happening at the University of California, Riverside and Cal State San Bernardino. And so we have to get out there and get these teachers into our district because we know they are highly sought after. But what I'm finding in these recruiting trips is that Moreno Valley is also a highly sought after district. And we have teachers wanting to come here to take part in this program. And as we grow the program, I think we're going to find it a little bit more suitable for our needs to continue to get the best young and up-and-coming teachers out of these programs who are ready to teach STEM classes.
All right. Let's take a question from Selena. Selena, welcome to our call. What's your question tonight?
Yes, I heard mention about the fine arts and sports programs that are going to be available, but I was wondering, will more emphasis be put on tutoring programs, especially at the elementary and middle school levels?
Yes, absolutely. Our priority is for our students to master the Common Core state standards, and in some cases we need to offer additional support for our students. So what you will find is that as we do our assessments on a regular basis, we will be able to identify the students that might need additional support. Sometimes that support is able to be given and provided during the regular school day, and sometimes it's given after school. We do have categorical funding to help support our after-school programs for tutoring. We also have a contract with Think Together, which is a city program for after-school, and they are working hand-in-hand with us to be able to provide additional academic support for our students. I cannot overemphasize. I must let all parents know if you have a student that is not being successful academically, I would like for you to reach out to the principal so that you can work with the principal and the teachers to provide whatever is necessary. But we do have after-school tutoring programs. Okay,
Great.
So I did make a commitment for everyone that we would only ask you to give us no more than an hour of your time. And this has met my expectations in terms of having families on the line. We actually made more than 4,000 connections, and we had close to 400 people who stayed for the entire time, and this is so important to us. I want to thank you all for taking time to participate in this telephone town hall meeting. You asked some very good questions that I think helped us explain our new strategic plan better. Our school board is going to review and possibly approve the plan at its June 17th meeting. That's a public meeting. Anyone can attend, and I invite you to do so. The meeting is Tuesday, June 17th at 7 p.m. here at our district office, which is located at 25634 Alessandra Boulevard in Moreno Valley. You can also watch a replay of the board meeting on Time Warner Cable on Channel 16. Our board meetings are repeated several times. Thank you for your comments. You can email me any questions at jwhite@mbusd.net. Thank you, everyone, so much. Have a great night.
And if anyone did not get an opportunity to ask their question tonight, do stay on the line here as we end the call. You'll have an opportunity to leave us a voicemail. Leave us your name, your phone number, or your email address, and what your question is, and Dr. White and her staff will do their best to get back to you. So again, do leave a message for us tonight with your name, phone number, email address, and question. And thank you, everybody, for joining the call. Good night.